What did you think of it, Pat?
I thought he sounded like a bitter. He sounded like a jilted lover, like somebody who's been dumped.
That's what I said.
Still can't get over it. Like, he's got a lot of resentment, man. And for me, I don't know, man. I don't really rate him as a pundit, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really. Yeah, I
think he's too raw.
I don't like him. I just don't like what he says. It's
I like
it's not.
You like him.
There's a difference of being raw, but your delivery is good and you've got a point. A lot of times, like when he was picking at Pogba last season, and he's he spends too much time combing his hair and this and that. You're not really getting to the point of what you're trying to get across, and it's like he's picking at faults and picking at people and.
What's happening, people? Welcome back. This is Everyone's a Pundit podcast, and we're up to episode 8 now.
Wow.
So yeah, we're moving, boys.
That's it.
We are moving.
Big.
We're moving, man. I want to thank everybody that's supported so far. Thank you all for watching. We're getting a lot of good feedback, man. So we're just gonna keep trying to bring out this content. As I've said many times before, we're just fans giving our fans' opinion. Yeah, we're pundits in our own right. Sorry. If you're new to the channel, can you please subscribe and hit the notification bell?
Like the videos as well.
And and share with your people them.
Engage with us.
And
questions,
that's
anything
it.
that you don't feel.
And you know what? We're gonna discuss something in this part which will get people talking. Because you're all talking in your WhatsApp groups. Leave us a comment and let us know, because you're probably not gonna agree with what I say anyway. I know my cousin already doesn't agree, but so anyway, let me introduce to guys. If you're new, I have on my right here.
That's it, Patrick what?
He's messed up the intro. He's messed up the intro.
I was going to say Patrick Tyron, and I was also going to say Young Swaggy Daniels, and I kind of got tongue-tied.
Yeah, just keep it the way you've been doing it, man.
Sorry, man, but yeah, it's Patrick Tyron. When you see the P, you see the T. When you see the T, you know it represents P. Also want to shout out Amari, Little Swaggy Daniels, and Aiden, some youngsters that are watching the show.
Yeah,
really enjoying
wicked, man.
Yeah, we've got a lot of getting a lot of good feedback from the younger generation as well. So they're really tuning in and liking the content. So
I didn't even know that we had some young ones watching. You know,
11, 12, 15.
Big up.
Wicked.
So yeah, man, big up yourselves. Big up, and thank you again for watching. And tell your friends at school. Yeah, tell your friends. Show them the link so they can start watching as well. Because again, we're just fans giving our fans' opinion, and then one day you will be on here if you want to do that as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, to my left we have
Mr. Jason Alex. Come on.
Mr. Jason Alex. Come
short
on.
And sweet. Short and sweet,
bro. None of this. I got time, cuz. You get me? Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
There you go.
It's a little bit short though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit short. But
I like it like that. Nice and simple, bro. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it, bro.
See.
I hear that.
All right. Well, boy, in today's episode, in part 1, what we are going to discuss, we're going to discuss the video that's been circulating around with Roy Keane and Gary Neville. I believe it's on, was it Off the Ball?
Off the Ball Roadshow. They do like a touring podcasty roadshow where they get people in different cities, and then there's a crowd, as you saw. There's a live audience.
Yeah, live audience.
When Roy Keane was spitting his bars, they were all like
laughing and all of that. And if you haven't seen the video, go and find it. It's on Off the Ball Roadshow, and it's
it will come
Roy
up straight
Keane.
away. It's been getting loads of views.
Roy Keane and Gary Neville, and what he's talking about is basically the end part of his career at Man United.
Behind the scenes kind of snippet.
And you know what I have to say? This is the type of stuff that I like to watch, because far too often, in my opinion, when you're listening to pundits that have played the game, so we're up here, I've played at a lower level compared to these lot. So these lot I expect to talk about the real stuff that goes on in football,
They're a bit too PC because they're trying to
Very
they're
PC.
not trying to burn any bridges, so it's all nicey.
But once you're a pundit and you're no longer in football, you should be able to give that real talk. I like Jason.
Yeah, of course.
And what Roy Keane's giving here is behind the scenes of what really went down. But his version of it. And it was good. And what I thought was really good about this was that they had Gary Neville there, because he kind of adds a bit of balance.
Yeah. And also you can see he's like correcting each other. Like, no, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But you can see there's some reality to it because they're
100%
both saying
reality.
the same kind of thing.
What did you think of the video overall, Jay?
It's interesting, boy. To see, hear what he had to say. It's obvious that him and Ferguson just didn't get on near the end of his time at Man United. I mean, I've never seen that video that he put out
on MUTV.
Yeah,
Apparently it was destroyed quite quickly, innit?
I was going to say, because I'd love to see...
I want to see what the fuss is about.
Them. But I think he said they lost 4-1 or 4-2
they lost to Middlesbrough,
So that's a shock, innit? You wouldn't expect that.
I mean...
So basically, we did lose 4-1 to Middlesbrough.
Oh, it's 4-1, okay.
And if I'm honest, one thing I did pick up, and I might be nitpicking here, leave me a comment and let me know if you think I'm nitpicking. But when he's giving the story, for something that's quite big in your football career, the end part, for you to not remember it's 4-1 that you lost and not 4-2, because he kept saying 4-1 or 4-2.
It's a huge moment in his career.
Yeah, so you would remember what the scoreline was. It's not like you I can remember when we lost to Southampton 5-3 back in the day. Like certain scorelines will stick in. So just little things I was picking up on. Again, I might be nitpicking, but where Gary Neville, he remembered the name of the hotel that these lot staying in. And that's why I think it was really good that Gary was there, because he had balance and you could see that there were certain things Gary didn't agree with.
Gary Neville is on another level. He's probably my favourite pundit because he knows his stuff. And he's also, I mean, his coaching experience in Spain wasn't the greatest, but he's obviously been England assistant manager. He's been on that level, and obviously as a player, you can't fault him.
No, he can't knock his credentials, man.
His accolades speak for themselves, but...
What did you think of it, Pat?
I thought he sounded like he sounded like a jilted lover, like somebody who's been dumped.
That's what I said.
Still can't get over it. Like, he's got a lot of resentment, man. And for me, I don't know, man. I don't really rate him as a pundit, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really. I
think he's too raw.
I don't like him. I just don't like what he says.
I like him.
You like him.
There's a difference of being raw, but your delivery is good and you've got a point. A lot of times, like when he was picking at Pogba last season, and he spends too much time combing his hair and this and that, you're not really getting to the point of what you're trying to get across. And it's like he's picking at faults and picking at people. And what I also wanted to say is that he's saying that, when they asked about Ferguson being like ill and, on his deathbed, and he's like, they're asking, would you reach out to him? This is a guy who pretty much, I wouldn't say made you, but your best part of your career it
was his career. No one don't know Roy Keane other than playing for Man United.
And man said he wouldn't even send him a text or get in touch with him.
Or he didn't, because obviously Fergie's been ill, innit?
That's it. And he even goes, he would only talk to him again if he apologised. I'm like, you're a big man. Move on, innit? Like, sometimes you got to let things go.
Yeah, so I heard that.
He just seems a bit salty, you know what I mean? A bit bitter.
What year did he leave? 05? Was it 05 he left Man? Not 05, was it 07?
Was that when it was? I'm not even sure when it was.
He was 34 years old. They made that clear. So it's not like he was a youngster and he still had a lot to learn. He was a big man. Do you know what I mean? So,
see, my take on it is this, because like when we hear and listen to Roy Keane on Sky Sports and everything now, I can never, especially if he's he always seems to be punditing on the Man United games.
They do it on purpose. They do it on purpose.
So I can't really vibe with him, because exactly what you said, and I think I mentioned this in one of our groups. It's like you've been in a relationship which was abusive, and you get out, and then you just can't. You just keep digging. And he even says in the video, it's like, about holding a grudge. And I think if you're a pundit, and you should be impartial, right? When you're talking. Now, obviously, you're going to have a little bit of bias or whatever. But he lets his... because I haven't known to the extent of this backstory. And I have talked about him being like hung up on Man United and being bitter for ages. Like, and now I can hear, for what it's worth, and from what he was saying, I do believe that he got dealt with a bad hand. Not a bad hand, but I think we might have done him wrong towards the end. Towards the end of his career. But other things that I picked up on was the fact of he always talks about professionalism in his when he's on Sky Sports and stuff. Gary Neville says it, when he put it on the plate, he was like,
would you?
He said, would you as the manager, would you have got rid of Roy Keane?
He said no.
He said no. A number of times.
And Gary Neville was like, nah. And Gary Neville said as well, the words that were going on were horrific. And then the crowd were all laughing, and Gary was like, nah. This ain't funny. for us as the players,
imagine being there, in that toxic environment.
Exactly. So you can see that Roy Keane overstepped the mark.
Yeah.
The guy who's interviewing even asked him, was there any point where you was in this moment where you was thinking did I overstep the mark? And he was like, you better hold on a second, or you better. He kind of got aggressive there in that moment.
Yeah, Roy Keane doesn't seem to be somebody who can be reflective and understand where we all make mistakes. We all can push things. In the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment, you can to your partner, to your boss, you can say something like, "Well, I shouldn't have done that." But it's about having the decency to then say, I'm sorry for this. I don't agree with what you said, but I shouldn't have said this or that. He doesn't seem to have that in his makeup.
Because there's been loads of stuff that's come out over the years, obviously with him and international.
Republic of Ireland, players saying people were faking injuries and all that type of stuff. And,
don't get me wrong, he's very straight talking, but I do see a lot of what he says on Sky Sports. A lot of what he was even saying in the video was for the viewers, was for the fans.
Yeah, he was playing on it.
Yeah, man, he's a bit of a comedian in that sense. He's quite funny. I ain't gonna lie, he's quite funny.
It's like he's not trying to be funny, but it's funny.
It is funny.
The crowd were loving him.
Yeah, they were loving him, and then he feeds off. He feeds off that. You know what I'm saying? We've all been in an environment where you're making somebody laugh and it hypes you up, and then you just feed off it.
He had the mic and he was on.
He was on the main stage. He was on form, man. It was one thing I would say as well. It was a really good watch.
It was
a really good watch.
5 minutes worth of good watch.
Yeah, man. I was glued. I was glued. But you know what? I wanted to know what happened as well. And some of the, obviously, I'm a United fan, so some of the stuff we was talking about, Queiroz threw the bib at him. Yeah.
That's mad. I was like,
but you know what? To me, that says that there's stuff that happened up to that point. Now, I haven't read the book. I don't know if some of you lot watching this have read the book. Maybe leave us a comment and let us know other stuff that he might have mentioned in the book. But there's stuff that has gone on up to this point that we don't know. That's not being said in this one little interview. That obviously created an issue between him and Carlos and him and Fergie. Do you know what I mean? And he said it as well, like, he was at the end of his career. He was still the captain at the time, though.
Exactly.
So was it that I don't know. I don't really know. I don't want to speculate. I don't quite know what was going on behind the scenes. But something had gone on to lead to that point.
Yeah, it'd be good if Ferguson came out and explained his side of things. So we can kind of
Fergie would never do that, though.
I know.
I doubt it.
Would you if you were Fergie?
With former players talking crud,
not
telling the truth.
I mean, even Darren Ferguson.
Probably.
I'd love to see if Darren Ferguson would ever bite back.
He said, when he said about
Darren Ferguson,
you took the players out of when did Ferguson get sacked from? What club was it?
When Fergie got sacked from Preston,
then
he took
Man United players.
The players that were on loan there. So he's saying he didn't do what's best for the club. It was always about.
So I'm thinking, no, I've got to come out.
Emotion,
You know what? As well, though, he was like. About Fergie being a man manager. I think that's the one thing that's always stuck with Fergie, innit? That he's been the perfect, not perfect, but he's been that man manager.
He knows how to handle different personalities, and when enough's enough, he was
exactly. So, like, not being funny, you can't be a Fergie that's managed all of the personalities that you've managed over the number of years and be a mouse. You're gonna have an edge about you, innit?
You have to. You have to command that respect.
Exactly.
Command that respect. Otherwise, people will walk all over you.
Exactly. And so for Roy Keane to then try and dig him out for how he got treated at the end. Let's look at Fergie's legacy, like the players, because you don't hear many people come out at the time at Man United and say, we ain't happy with Fergie, we ain't happy with our time there. And you just have to look at Gary Neville's face where he's getting on to Fergie. Gary was just like, in his face, he was just like, no, you're out of order here, Roy. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose when you are angry, because I do want to go back to the fact that I do believe that the way he was so passionate about it, I'm thinking he was dealt dirty. But that's probably because of how
he said they didn't pay him like is like half a year's wages and all of that, which is
Man United cash flow problem.
Cash flow problem. And he's like, do me a favour, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, if that's the case, that is dirty. You know what I mean? They should have paid him.
Yeah.
So
but some of them stuff as well is like Gary was like, oh, I'm only hearing that now. This is the first time I'm hearing it, and then I'm thinking,
how true is it? We always got to take it with a pinch of salt because we don't know the whole story.
You don't know the whole story. But just as a fan, looking at Roy Keane now, whenever he talks about United, he just comes across bitter.
Yeah.
And this was before I'd even known the backstory.
Exactly. That's it.
And for that to happen, in my opinion, you shouldn't be like that,
Yeah,
man.
I'm not a big fan of his. I would say it, and I've always said it. I just don't feel the way he comes across and how he like slates players. I don't agree with it.
He is a bit harsh with some of his slating.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my guys, I'll shout you out this time because I did reference him, and he said you should have shouted me out. So John Scotty, yeah, a Man United fan in my group, straight away when he watched the video, he's like, "This is what we're missing. We're missing these type." And I'm just like. Okay, yeah, the big discussion is about the characters in Man United's team, but like, do you necessarily think that having that type of player is going to have
it's a fine line, because once that player just steps over the mark a little bit, everything goes.
I don't think you
I
could
mean?
have a Roy Keane in today's Man United
Yeah.
team. You couldn't. It'd be rubbing so many people up the wrong way.
Even
or just in today's football. Yeah.
I don't even think you can do that these days, because like you just get found out, man. Like, you know, the challenges, the way he goes about himself. Remember, social media is rife, and the media are rife, and you wouldn't get away with that in today's society.
You know what? That's another. Please leave us a comment and let us know. Do you think this is at Man United fans? Do you think that Roy Keane is what's missing at United? Do you think even in football in general we don't have enough Roy Keanes at the moment? Because look, in his day, I want to make this clear. In his day, Roy Keane was a bad man. He badded up Arsenal.
Badded up Vieira.
So obviously, when you're that type of character, it comes across on the pitch in the right way.
Yeah.
But sometimes he did some madness, like some red cards that I see my man do.
Or even when he was,
I'll think of Haaland, do you know what I mean?
For Republic of Ireland when at the World Cup, and he just decided he's gone home. That's your country.
But what's funny is the professionalism. I've got the same people that want to talk about Roy Keane is what we miss, but then on the other hand, you want to slate someone
out of his country
for United for professionalism, saying this person ain't professional, and I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think you need a Roy Keane in this day and age. I
don't think you do. I think to myself, in the Premier League now, there isn't any type of Roy Keane or the Vieira type players now.
Or even a Joey Barton or anything.
They ain't them players no more.
Even Craig Bellamy's, you can't get away with that.
They're them thugs, innit? Basically, what you can kind of say. Like, Man City and Liverpool are the dominant force in the Premier League at the moment. They got those those players in the team. So
if you're looking at who's Man City's hardest player, you can't even read
Hendo.
Fernandinho for Man City.
Liverpool,
Hendo and Milner, you'd say are the two tough nuts. And for Man City, Fernandinho, and I wouldn't even say anyone else is backing it. Like if he had a fight and
company probably when he was there.
That's it. So that's what I'm saying. Football today, you don't really have that.
Yeah, you don't, man. But you know what, boy. It was a good watch. Yeah. It was a good watch. I would love to put some of the clips up on the screen. There's more to it as well. It's actually a long like 2 hour long thing. Yeah, because there's more. There's the stuff about he starts talking about John Walters.
Okay.
For Republic of Ireland.
And he gets onto it and he says some stuff that are.
Was that the striker that played for Republic of Ireland?
Stoke. I saw some stuff. I haven't seen the segment, but I've seen people's comments where they're saying, John Walters, like I think someone in his family was suffering from cancer or something. Along those lines, and they're like, you're out of order for saying that.
Because he mentions on him, he mentions about him crying. Yeah. And again, it's all the comical effect, like the crowd are laughing and everything.
But it's not that
funny. But the segment itself, he's proper like, you have to watch it. Yeah. He's proper getting at Walters, like saying his name. These two have an issue.
Okay, I need to see that.
And he's saying his name and he's calling him out and he's being very direct. That's one thing that I can't knock Roy Keane. He's not behind the scenes. Let me talk behind your back nonsense.
He will say it to your face.
He's on camera and he is giving it, boy. So for that, I respect. You know what I mean? I respect people that are not fake, that are real to your face and all of that. So for that, I do respect Roy Keane. But I don't respect you for the way you carry on now as a pundit, as a person. But yeah, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? But I think that's probably it on this particular And we'll be back in part 2, people.